Hello, I'm back for another video. My name is Josh Kastic, and today is what if I got my hands on the Infinity Stones. This is kind of a reboot of a series of videos, but I'm going to make it one video because I realized that holding one of the Infinity Stones per se, it has a power. Each stone has a specific power, and there are limits to what you can do with them. It's very, when you have that power of the Infinity Stone, it's very, like I said, it's very small things you can do with it, and therefore the videos weren't all decisive. They were kind of small videos, and I just don't think they worked the best way I did them. And so in this case, it's going to be one video where I'm going to just talk about individually if I got each stone individually, and then let's say I got 2 stones or that would work together, or 3 stones or 4, until like if I had all 5 at once, what would I do? Sorry to interrupt myself there. There's 6 stones, not 5. I don't know why I said 5. Sorry about that. But that's kind of where we will go. So let's start off with the Power Stone. The Power Stone, all it is really, like I said, it gives power. It increases strength, obviously. It also has the ability to enhance the other stones, power-wise, and it could power up things. So what I would use the Power Stone is, I would probably, if I had the Power Stone, I would, get increased strength, and I'd probably go become a superhero, taking down bad guys or whatever with super strength. I would have to watch out for guns, because that would be, obviously, the Power Stone makes you stronger, not bulletproof. There's a difference there, but that's probably something I would definitely do with the Power Stone. And let's see, what else would I do with the Power Stone? Obviously, increase strength, so I would definitely help people lift things when they need them. I mean, I could easily lift things. If I needed to get something under my bed that's really like lodged somewhere under there, I could just lift up my bed with ease with one hand and just grab what I need. So that, do some things that would need the strength of the Power Stone. So, I could even probably move furniture around in the house if I wanted to without needing help with just the Power Stone. Well, I guess you could say that is help, but, I meant help as in a person. So, yeah. So, that's probably what I would do with the Power Stone. Now, okay, so what would I do with... Next would be the Space Stone, in the MCU, the Tesseract, or the Space Gem, so in the comic books for Space Gem, obviously. All of them were gems in the comic books, and then they were called stones in the movies, but it has the ability to be able to go anywhere you want, without, pretty much anywhere you want, even in the universe, as well as it can manipulate space. For instance, Thanos used the Space Stone to manipulate the space between, around the dagger that Loki was going to use to stab Thanos with. And he manipulated the space to stop the dagger from going any further, and so that's kind of it's pretty cool. So what would I do with it? Obviously I don't like planes, so we're going on planes. I haven't been on a plane since maybe 5 years old, I think. And traveling by car just takes so long, right? with the power of the space stone, I could go anywhere I want, any country, any country, any place within a country, anywhere, with just the power of the space stone. I can see so many iconic sights, and I don't even have to pay money to those planes or pay money to travel in a car for all those food stops and all that. No, with that I could just go straight there. Some places I would like to go, or places where my ancestors came from, like all my nationalities. I have like 7. English from like England, Welsh, German, Polish, Swedish, Dutch, and Scot-Irish. Now, if you don't know what Scot-Irish is, it's Scot-Irish is when Scottish people or people from Scotland move to Northern Ireland and establish a place there, and so now I know it's more. I'm not sure if they actually do wear orange, but it's something me and my dad do Well, I mostly do now. Well, it's something my dad told me that. Then I started actually doing it. I think it was more of a joke. I think when he made it, but you wear orange on St. Patrick's Day. So I actually started wearing a couple years ago or several years ago. I started wearing orange on St. Patrick's Day. For that purpose, but yeah, so that's definitely visit all those places, and definitely Paris. I'm not like an art person, and so I want to go to places like Paris where art is a big thing. So for sure, that's where I would definitely like to go with the Space Stone, because I don't like boats, I don't like traveling over the ocean, I don't like planes, so I definitely will not be going to any other country for that matter. So but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much what I would do with the Space Stone. If I have to, I'd probably use it to if someone threw an object at me, like out of anger or whatever, and I see it, I could use the Space Stone to manipulate it from hitting me. Other than that, there's no real other use that I would use for the Space Stone. So yeah. Let's see, what else would I do with the space? Okay, so next up is the Reality Stone. What I would do with the Reality Stone, I will create a reality where all my dreams come true, where I'll be a famous director. I would have people love my movies. I have so many books. Have books out there that I've written. I would be not only direct a Star Wars movie, but I would actually be a main character in a Star Wars movie. I would make a Marvel movie, and maybe I don't know if I would be a superhero but I would definitely be I want some type of character in the MCU. That would be interesting for sure. And then what else I'd probably do is I would probably create a reality in which everything I ever wanted, which I'm actually pretty close to getting everything I ever wanted, like buying. That's actually, I bought a lot of things that pretty much ever I wanted, and I would create a reality where I would get all that stuff without paying a single cent, a single penny. Yeah, and then all the money I have used at this point, I will get it all back using the Reality Stone. Now, in the MCU, the Reality Stone isn't permanent, which is kind of weird because in the comic books it actually was. Now, I will, if in any case, depending on which views you want to go with, I'm going based on the powers of the comic books because they were more accurate and or more developed than the MCU. So stones, obviously. So that's what I would do with the Reality Stone at this point. Is it'll be based on the comic book version where everything is permanent or whatever. Let's see, what will be the next one is the Time Stone. Well, the Time Stone, if I missed an opportunity, I would use the time stone to do that. Now, you can also see the future with the time stone, so there's a very possibility that... Sorry about that. What was I saying? Yeah, so every opportunity I've missed, I will use the time stone to manipulate that and make sure I didn't. Now, I don't know if the time... I know in the MCU, people didn't use the time stone to actually go into the past. You can only really control time. Or you can control time, but you can't control time in the past. Like, you can't use the time stone to go back into the past. At least I don't think you can. I could be wrong, but I did read it up on the gem, and I think that I can't remember exactly because I think I went over the gem, but it's the time stone, so it should be able to manipulate not only time specifically, but allow you to go into the past. Now, if it were the case, if let's entertain the thought that I could use the time stone to go back into the past. Now, we're not using MCU time rules here. We're going to use the original rules, if you're going to use time, if you're going to use the original time rules, okay, at least follow them, like all of them. Like so much media only want to follow the rules that would fit their narrative, which is not how time works. If you're going to do time travel, you have to follow all the rules or don't do time travel. It's simple as that. Now, if I'll go into the past or use the time stone to manipulate opportunities that I've missed, like getting that shiny Tapu Bulu. I totally missed out on that event, and that I was not happy with that. That was annoying because I have all the other shiny Tapus now, and I do have a shiny Bulu, but it's hacked. I got it through trade, and I know it's hacked, so which is annoying because I don't want to hack shiny Bulu, but whatever. It is what it is. So I would definitely use the time stone and manipulate missed opportunities. It might be really bad if I stop myself from doing the bad things I've probably done in my life. That would be probably really bad if I probably shouldn't do that. That's the problem with having that type of power, doing things like that. But definitely miss opportunities I would try to get back is most importantly what I would use the time stone for. If I have to, and obviously if I had it and I made a mistake or something, or not a mistake, but if I did a missed opportunity again this time, I would use the time stone to reverse it. If I, like, there was a feature in Sword and Shield where you get to nickname Pokemon that aren't yours as long as they didn't have a nickname. And unfortunately, once you nickname, it's permanent. You can't change it. So, I think I like all the shiny nicknames, but over the years, over the past few months, I've been looking over them, and some of them I'm not really sure anymore. Not sure as much as I was when I first nicknamed them that. And so, obviously, I would use the time stone to even reverse that too, so I can re-nickname those Pokemon. And so, but other than that, that's pretty much all I would use for the time stone. Yeah. Let's see, what is it? I've used what's left. And the Mind Stone. Mind Stone, obviously, I would increase my brain activity, and when I do that, I will become a genius. I will create the future technology that will help people, and for people to enjoy, and I could do things like I can like I would know things when people ask me questions. I could just answer like that with the power of with the increased brain activity. Yes, that would be awesome. I know I probably shouldn't, but with a lot of my superhero characters that I've written from, obviously I haven't released or anything, but I've came up with it. Not all of them, but a few of them, one of their main powers is super smarts. And the reason why I always fascinated with that power. And that's why like some of my characters have that. Obviously I probably should stop doing that, obviously, because then it would just be bad writing if all my characters have that. But obviously, like I said, it's very fascinating. I always like the idea of super smarts and where you could just answer any question, and a question and just get it right. And also with the power of the mind, you can also pretty much understand physics, so you can make a basketball shot every time. I'd probably be literally, if with super smarts, you'd probably be literally best at pretty much everything, except for physical stuff. But mentally stuff, you would pretty much anything that requires mental capability, you would just be the best at it. So other than that, that's pretty much all I would use for the Mind Stone. There's literally like nothing else I would use it. Now technically you can understand other people's minds too as well, so that would probably be interesting as well. But other than that, I don't have much use for the Mind Stone. The Soul Stone is the hardest one. And the reason why is because it has to do with souls. Now, what I could do is technically save lives per se. Obviously, they're going to, if someone dies, okay, right, you could use the Soul Stone to capture their life and their soul and put it into the soul world, which is connected to the Soul Stone, and only bring them back to the living when we have the technology to in order to save their life, whatever condition they may have. This is probably the fastest way to save lives. Obviously, they're going to be gone from the world for whatever amount of time it will take to create that technology, but it's at least they're technically saved, even though they're technically dead still. But that's pretty much all I would use for the Soul Stone. I don't really have. There's really not much else you could really do with that. There's literally not really anything else you could really do with that. So now let's go on combining stones with other stones. Or if you have more than one, the Power Stone, like I said, powers up the other stone. So it's a given that if we go based on the MCU, most likely the Power Stone with the Reality Stone will just make everything permanent if you use both of them at the same time to create a reality. But other than that, you can't really, other than powering them up. Now, if you're going into based on the way I've been doing this video, if you go based on if you go based on in the comic books, it really doesn't do it just could power up the Reality Stone. I don't know how much power up or what that power will require, but other than that, it will power it up. Power the Space Stone. Like I said, like the problem with the Power Stone is, it powers up the other stones, but what does that entail? Because the other stones don't really have as much limits, really. I mean, the Space Stone, you could really go anywhere you want in the universe, too. What is the Power Stone going to do with that? I don't know, so it's really hard to say what you would do with the Power Stone and the Reality Stone or Space Stone, other than basically what I would probably do with the Power Stone and Space Stone. It's like I would use the Space Stone to enhance my Power Stone superhero identity, where basically I could punch a guy, teleport out there from his blind spot, and go to his blind spot, punch him again. He would have a new blind spot, teleport like that to stop the guy. You know, if someone's about to shoot a gun, now it's usually fast, but I can use the Space Stone, get out of there, go from the behind and punch the guy. That's what I would do. With the Reality Stone, you know, you can't really develop the superior in this case, because, like, why would I just say, let's make a reality where that guy's not a bad guy? I mean, that just depletes this, it kind of depletes that story. So, no, I think, I kind of already, if you go the MCU route with the Reality Stone, I'll just make everything permanent. If you go from the comic book, then I don't know what the Power Stone would do with the Reality Stone. Let's see, the Power Stone and the Mind Stone. Like I said, I increase smartness, and the increased smartness with the Mind Stone, with the Power Stone, can also help with battling. You know, make good strategies on how to defeat someone, and you know, and then punch them, obviously. So, and you know, with the super strength and super smarts, I mean, there's a lot more you could do that, because then now you not only do you have the mental power, but you also have not only mental, and you have mental and physical power, which is really good. Now the Mind, Power Stone, and the Time Stone, I think, let's say you couldn't use the Time Stone to go in the past. Maybe the Power Stone can power up the Time Stone in order for you can do that. And that's something that could do it. And now, really, like, the Time Stone could per se have limits. I mean, but the Power Stone can increase the time, like I said, so you have better control of manipulation and of time. So, and you could go back in the past. That's probably what I would do with the time. Now, if I was in a superhero persona with the Power Stone, if I was too late and the bad guy killed someone or stole something, I could use the Time Stone to reverse that and defeat the bad guy and save that person's life, like that. The Power Stone and the Soul Stone, not really much. Basically, maybe, like I said, if I was late to that battle, I would use the Soul Stone to save that person and figure out later how to save that person from before they just die, before they completely died, and you know, or whatever, and then go defeat the bad guy, you know, something like that. Other than that, that's pretty much it with the Power Stone and the Soul Stone. Now, for the other doubles, I think at this point, the Reality Stone and the Soul Stone just work on their own. They can't really work with the other stones, in my opinion, based on their powers. They just are more or less their own thing. So I'm not going to include, I'm going to stop including them into, it's really hard to, like I said, it's hard to say which ones they could work with, and mostly because other stones the Reality Stone is hard to play with other stones, is mostly because it's reality warping. So anything you could really manipulate with the other stones, you just create a reality where you just create a reality of your own making. It's really hard to, if you want to manipulate something in time, you don't really need that. With the Reality Stone, you just, you know, it's really hard to say. So that's why I'm not, you know, I don't want to include them with other ones. Space and time stone, now that is interesting, because you're now manipulating space and time. You're manipulating space-time. I mean, with that, there's no end. You could create your own world, for that matter, or universe with space-time by manipulating that, which is pretty cool to do. An interesting idea. mind and space, mostly, if you are high intellectual, obviously you want to go to the places where a lot of knowledge is kept. Or, I mean, even though if you have super smarts, you probably already know it, but it's still fascinating, right, to go to those places, right, if you are a scholar, with the Mind Stone, obviously. And then the Mind Stone and time, well, you could strategically change time the smart way, by if you know all the rules, right? With the power of the mind, you could change anything in time without, without disobeying rules and doing exactly what you need to do, and that's pretty cool too. Other than that, I don't think there is much else you could do with doubles of the stones. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's kind of move on. Sorry, there was some sound in the background. But now we're moving on to what if we had 3 stones. So now with the power, now for the superhero identity with the power stone and the space stone, if you had super smarts, that just adds to probably the best quality of the pretty cool superhero. You can make strategies on when to use, what times to use the space stone, the power stone. It's probably now you basically not only have physical strength but mental strength as well. But now you have the added bonus of and you have the ability to teleport basically anywhere, and that is really good. You can make strategies in battles with the power, and you have strength, so you take that into mind when you could attack people. And you can also make strategies with the space stone, or where specifically where and when to teleport. And I think that is really good. Let's just face it, Reality Stone and the Reality Stone could just work on its own. I mean, I've already kind of established this already, but I'm like stating again. You can manipulate time, but whatever let's say, like you want to, like I said before, with the Time Stone, you could go back and change all the missed opportunities you could do. Well, you could just create a reality in which you didn't miss those opportunities. You can see the problem with that, and that's why the Reality Stone is more or less on its own. And more, if you had both the Time Stone and the Reality Stone, whatever I would use the whatever I use the Time Stone for, I would just use the Reality Stone for. It's really that purpose. It's really for that. That's kind of why I can't really do that with the Reality Stone. Now, with the Soul Stone, or if I use the Time Stone with, let's say, the Time Stone with the Power Stone and the Mind Stone. If I had all 3 of those, most I would use the Time Stone for in that case is if I if I wasn't there on time in the battle and the guy killed someone, or they stole something, and they're already gone. I can manipulate the time to reverse that and beat the bad guy up. It's the same thing with kind of the Space Stone and the Space Stone, the Time Stone, and the Power Stone. It's kind of the same thing. And with the Soul Stone, it might be different. Let's say if I get there on time, but the guy was shot and the person was dying, okay? Or something, the person's dying. I use the Soul Stone to trap that guy into the Soul Stone, essentially saving that person's life, and then go beat up the bad guy. Like that. And that's pretty much all the threesomes you could really do with the stones. Now, space, time, like space and time, you could control, let's say you create a new world, right? With the Power Stone, with that, you could rule, like no one would fight your rule on your planet. With that, now, of course, with the space stone, you could essentially, with the reality stone, with that new world, technically you could create a reality with that new world. But let's say if you didn't use that to create a reality of a new world, you could create a reality where no one on that planet you create disobeys you. I guess in that way you could do that. And soul stones obviously probably control it with those two stones, with the space stone and the time stone. You control your people that you create's deaths, and you can save them and bring them back so they don't die. And your people, something like that, I guess. With the three, in that case, what else? Other possibilities there could be, or in that new reality with the Mind Stone and the Space Stones, you could create a world. Like you could with the Mind Stone, exactly how to create that world or reality, the best way you can create it with the Mind Stone. And that's, other than those, I don't know what other threesomes. I think I've came up with all the threesomes that you could do. So Power Stone, now what you could add, you could add the Time Stone to your power, my superhero identity that I've created. I could add the Time Stone power to it, and I've already kind of stated, if I had the mind, the power, and, with the Time Stone, like I said, I can manipulate, use the Mind Stone to help the Time Stone create the right way to manipulate time, and then, for instance, in the battle, and, if a guy stabs me, let's say I did not pick I could reverse that with the Time Stone, and then now I backtrack, find a new strategy with the mind to figure out another strategy to beat the guy. That's kind of where the four. And then, like I said, if we go another persona with the space-time, I create a reality. And not only will I be the strongest person in the world I created, but also the smartest. So I would know what's best for everyone, and no one could challenge me because of the power. So, like that, for instance. Let's say that. That'd be pretty cool. And, like I said, let's just leave the reality stone on its own, and then the Soul Stone with those three, like I've kind of stated, I think it's mine, I control the souls of everyone. I could save the souls I could be smart and know which ones are the best people to save and which ones not. Because, I can read minds and I know which people to save. That's actually pretty cool there as well. If I had the mind, the space, the time, and the Soul Stone, I know which people to save and which people to just let die, because I can read their minds, and kind of too. That's one of the parts of the Mind Stone. You can see what, and so that would be interesting. The Power Stone, the Soul Stone, and the space. I kind of in that. I think have I gone over that, because obviously I save people. Now, obviously, if I kill the people with the power that are trying to beat my rule, obviously I wouldn't save them with the Soul Stone, but kind of you could see where I'm going with all of those. I don't see if there is another. I think that's pretty much all the four combos you can make. 5. Let's just leave. Like I said, leave the Reality Stone for its own thing. Definitely increase persona right now. Not only could I reverse time to save the person, but let's say if I couldn't reverse time because I was already was way off time. Like, there's a limit to how much time you can manipulate. If you're not there, if you're still not there on time, sometimes it's too late to reverse time. And so, like, maybe I could use the Soul Stone if the person's still alive. Okay. But dying, I could take the Soul Stone to, that person. I could say that person's alive, and then it's more or less combining those powers. Let's say if I created my own world, all those powers I've kind of have stated before will just apply at once. So obviously, I can Now I create space-time. Now I create my own world. Now, and I've also been figuring, technically, when you create the new reality, you can also still use those minor time stones to reverse something on those planets, or teleport whatever you want on that planet or thing you created. So that's actually pretty interesting. Think about it. I forgot to state in the other parts, as well as no one can challenge your rule because you have the space and the mind stone. And you can wipe out the people who are trying to attack you, and that's pretty cool as well. You could wipe, like I said, you could wipe them out. And other than that, like you said, you attack them, you save some of your people, you can reverse time to save people. All sorts of things you can do with having all 5 in that own world, or here even. I mean, honestly, it's so those here, my superior persona with those stones. That's what I pretty much would do with those stones. Either be a hero here, my own planet. Obviously, a lot of things you could do with those 5 of them. Now, if you all have all 6 stones, obviously, when you snap, you get 1 wish, but you can't bring anyone back that gave you the ability to have the soul stone. For instance, like Natasha dying to get the soul stone, they couldn't use the stones to get her back because they used her to get the soul stone, and so it doesn't work that way. But obviously, you could grant any wish. You could snap half the universe like Thanos, or you could just increase the resources. But that's but whatever. There's that. Now, technically, as people still grow, I mean, resources will still run out. But even if you increase the resources, I don't think people thought about that. But other than that, all 6, still powerful hero persona, but like if you had the reality stone, I think you could just really don't need to use the other stones and some of the other stones. That's the problem with all having 6. I mean, I guess the best option of having all 6, you have a choice of which ones you want to use. I mean, ultimately, and that's the power of having all 6, and better world that you create. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you are new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for my next upload. My YouTube channel, website link, and Twitter is down in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye.